Today on MUFC Pulse, we'll dive into some incredibly intriguing news. Aston Villa consider bold raid for Rashford, and Bruno Fernandes gives verdict on Ederson'S transfer. For more on this story, check out the video. We also have some equally exciting football news coming up, so stay tuned until the end to catch it all. Welcome to MUFC Pulse. Don't forget to subscribe and press the bell for more updates. Aston Villa weighing up Marcus Rashford move. Marcus Rashford's future has been plunged into uncertainty following Barcelona's swift £70 million swoop for Newcastle United's Anthony Gordon. This comes despite Rashford enjoying a decent spell with the Catalan Giants, helping Hansi Flick's side clinch the La Liga title and forcing his way back into the England squad for the upcoming World Cup. However, Gordon's arrival poses an immediate threat to Rashford's spot in the Blaugrana frontline, given that the pair operate in identical positions. While Barcelona are understood to have the financial muscle to secure Rashford on a permanent basis, reports out of Spain suggest the club have no intention of triggering the £26 million buyout option, which expires on the 15th of June. A cut price bid of around £15 million is deemed far more realistic, though they may opt against making an offer altogether. Meanwhile, Manchester United are equally keen to get Rashford's hefty contract, which still has 2 years left to run off their wage bill. This standoff leaves Rashford with little choice but to explore alternative avenues, and reports indicate a trio of Premier League clubs are keeping close tabs on the situation, namely Aston Villa, Newcastle, and Tottenham. Villa are said to be considering a permanent reunion after taking the forward on loan for the second half of the 2024-2025 campaign. Manager Unai Emery is reportedly a huge admirer of the attacker's versatility and is prepared to make him a focal point at Villa Park. Bruno Fernandes take on the Ederson'S transfer. After confirming Michael Carrick as the club's permanent manager following a remarkable turnaround during the second half of the season, Man United are now planning to improve the first-team squad. Having sealed a top-3 finish, Man United have qualified for the Champions League next season, thus at least 8 extra games will be on the table. As such, the priority for Carrick has been to find a replacement or two for Casemiro, who will depart after 4 years in Manchester at the end of the month. Amid strong links to Atalanta midfielder Ederson'S, it has now been reported that a deal has been struck to make the Brazilian the first new arrival at Old Trafford this summer. Man United will pay a £34.9 million fixed fee plus £3.8 million of potential bonuses, while Ederson'S has been presented with a 4-year contract which includes the option of an additional 12 months. The 26-year-old still has to undergo a medical before there can be an official announcement, followed by confirmation of something of even greater importance, the shirt number. This swift negotiation process also reflects the efficiency of the new management structure under the INEOS. Unlike the transfer sagas of previous seasons that tended to drag on, this quiet but deadly move to secure Ederson'S proves that the internal agreement between Carrick and the sporting directors was completely on the same wavelength. Fresh funds from clearing Casemiro's hefty wage packet, alongside the financial incentive of qualifying for the Champions League, gave the club the financial muscle required to move aggressively. This assertive stride in the transfer market also sends a clear signal that the club's hierarchy fully backs Carrick's long-term vision at Old Trafford. The legendary former United midfielder is reportedly keen to forge a more dynamic team identity, relying on rapid transitions from midfield to attack. Ederson'S integration into this tactical system is expected to be seamless, given that the player is already well-versed in the intense pressing style he played under at Atalanta. If all the paperwork goes through without a hitch, the midfielder is expected to join up from day 1 of pre-season training next month. This is seen as absolutely massive if he is to have enough time to get used to the hustle and bustle of English football, whilst getting to grips with the tactical blueprint Carrick wants to implement to get Manchester United back in the title picture. Ederson'S, who has 3 international caps, was named in Brazil's 55-man expanded World Cup squad but missed out on manager Carlo Ancelotti's final selection. The 26-year-old has proved adaptable across a number of central midfield roles for Atalanta, scoring 16 goals in 180 games in all competitions. Aside from wrapping up the Ederson'S deal, the Red Devils brass are said to be moving quickly to lock down a second midfield target to give Michael Carrick the ideal squad depth. While Ederson'S arrival is earmarked to fill the massive void left by Casemiro, the relentless fixture pile-up of the new European format means Carrick needs more options to rotate. A few holding midfielders from Europe's top leagues have begun to pop up on the radar, with the main focus on players boasting physical steel and top-tier intercepting qualities. Reacting to Ederson'S arrival at Old Trafford, Manchester United captain Bruno Fernandes gave a firm assessment of the incredibly high standards expected at the club. He made it clear that any new player coming through the door must bring a proper winning mentality, given the sheer stature of Manchester United and the intense pressure that comes with the territory. For Bruno, playing under the spotlight in Manchester is no walk in the park. Therefore, as skipper, he feels it is his absolute responsibility to ensure that Ederson and any other new recruits hit the ground running and are ready to give 100% from the word go. Bruno believes that bringing in quality players is vital to building a competitive squad depth in order to achieve their ultimate goal, which is bringing silverware back to the theatre of dreams. Furthermore, the Portuguese maestro added that healthy competition for places within the squad will spur every single player on to keep raising their game. Bruno is confident that with his wealth of experience, Ederson won't take long to adapt to the pace of the Premier League and the gaffer's footballing philosophy. A warm welcome awaits him from the entire dressing room to help the new lad feel right at home. Bruno Fernandes' commitment to welcoming Ederson also mirrors the positive vibe currently sweeping through the Old Trafford dressing room. As the team's talisman and leader, Bruno knows full well that the success of Michael Carrick's dynamic tactics relies heavily on chemistry and mutual understanding in the middle of the park. Because of this, he plans to be in constant dialogue with Ederson from the start of pre-season to help fast-track the Brazilian midfielder's tactical adaptation. The synergy between Bruno's creativity and Ederson's discipline and engine is hoped to forge a formidable new midfield axis, whilst laying a rock-solid foundation for Manchester United to tackle domestic silverware and the Champions League next term. Man United set sights on budding young left-back. Manchester United are moving swiftly in the 2026 summer transfer window to bolster their defensive ranks. The Red Devils brass are understood to have identified Newcastle United's young left-back, Lewis Hall, as their primary target. This strategic gambit has been deployed to inject fresh blood whilst bringing fresh competition to the Old Trafford left-back slot, an area deemed in desperate need of a complete overhaul. The urgent need on the left side of United's backline stems from a far-from-ideal squad situation ahead of the new campaign. Tyrell Malaysia is heavily tipped to part ways with Manchester on a free transfer once his contract expires. Meanwhile, senior fullback Luke Shaw is getting on in years and becoming increasingly injury-prone, leaving Michael Carrick's side in dire need of an able deputy and a long-term successor. The Old Trafford hierarchy are said to admire Lewis Hall's profile immensely. The 21-year-old is viewed as possessing the modern attributes perfectly suited to today's tactical setups. Alongside his defensive solidity, Hall is adept at playing as an inverted fullback, showcasing the ability to drift into central areas to help dictate the tempo and control the flow of the game. This tactical flexibility makes him an incredibly attractive option for the recruitment team. Manchester United's admiration is well-founded given Hall's track record throughout the 2025-2026 campaign. With Newcastle United, he successfully proved his mettle as a vital cog in the backline. On the domestic front, the Chelsea Academy graduate clocked up a total of 30 Premier League appearances, racking up 2,179 minutes of football. These figures underscore his durability and consistency in one of the most demanding leagues in world football. Hall's return for the Magpies was rather productive for a defender, chipping in with a goal and an assist apiece in the league. Far from just shining on home soil, Hall's mental fortitude was also tested on the European stage. He made 10 appearances in the prestigious UEFA Champions League, gaining invaluable experience that has seen him mature well beyond his years. His ability to rise to the occasion in such high-stakes fixtures has clearly caught the eye of top-tier suitors. Be that as it may, Manchester United's pursuit to bring Hall to the theatre of dreams will be neither straightforward nor cheap. Newcastle United have reportedly slapped a hefty opening price tag on him, somewhere in the region of £50 million. That figure reflects just how highly valued the player is for the future project at St James Park. The hefty valuation signals that the Tyneside club will not let their prized asset go without a fight. Newcastle's bargaining position in these talks is incredibly strong, not least because they are under no pressure from financial regulations. The balance sheet for Eddie Howe's side has just received a massive shot in the arm. Their success in offloading Anthony Gordon to Spanish giants Barcelona for a whopping €80 million fee means Newcastle have the luxury to hold onto their star assets. Consequently, the Red Devils will have to present a truly irresistible offer to break the Magpies' resolve. Nevertheless, Manchester United are not throwing in the towel, as they hold a trump card in transfer director Christopher Vivell. Vivell is known to share a strong historical rapport with Hall from their past days together. This personal connection is believed to be United's secret weapon to turn the player's head, convincing him to agree to personal terms and make the switch to Manchester. The window of opportunity for this transfer appears to be swinging open due to the dynamics Hall faces at both club and international level. Throughout last term, he was frequently rotated with Dan Burn, leading him to ponder new options in search of guaranteed regular minutes. Hall's frustration was compounded after being axed by Thomas Tuchel from England's final 2026 World Cup squad. This sense of disenchantment could provide the perfect momentum for Manchester United to turn up the heat on negotiations over the coming weeks. Hit that like button, subscribe, and let us know in the comment your opinion.